The Game, Episode 1, عيون القلب, with the most active doctors and pharmacists in our career sectors. Player number 1, hanany, a pharmacist. Artihanan, medical representative. Group hanans, pharmacist. And hanany loss, a newest generation in a great family in pharmaceutical industry. عيون القلب. Welcome to the game table. That is the numbering order if you want to follow the counting after dice throwing. Let's start. Hanany stays, throwing the dice. Three, with the branding. 1, 2, 3, it is the environment. The bit from Hanany Stray's environment, titled Diagnostic Ultrasound in Sports Medicine. There is an abbreviation MSK, which means musculoskeletal imaging. The sport medicine team should be armed with knowledge of MSK ultrasound and be a good imager for the full benefit of their performing athletes. It is a targeted and interactive test actively interrogating the site of symptoms and correlating clinical features. Also, Hanany Strays mentions that the bit could fit on radiology minute, but here it is at environment square. Many injuries can be minimized by early diagnosis and appropriate treatment. Diagnosis and follow-up of very common stress fracture is another interesting use of ultrasound among athletes. Ultrasound is a safe and powerful but highly operator-dependent method of imaging sports injuries. Ultrasound is often the best method of assessing soft tissue bath dynamics. It is cost-effective, faster, well-tolerated. Again, the subject and another title, ultrasound accepted by Hanany lot, throwing dice. It is a behavioral with 6 direction. At the square, informal interest. The bit from Hanany lot, decorated with Arabic writing, the title of a novel, الأسود يليق بك، رواية بقلم أحلام استغماني، كاتبة جزائرية. And besides this, there is a note, termination of noradrenergic transmission, uptake 1 or uptake 2. Hydrolysis of acting cholinomimetic is accomplished by the action of acetylcholinesterase, a protein with molecular weight of about 320,000, which is present in high concentration in cholinergic synapse. Hanany lot mentioned that with this bit they move anti-clockwise in the pharmacist watch, and commenting the mild alerting action of nicotine absorbed from inhaled tobacco smoke is the best known of these effects. Reuptake into nerve terminal, uptake 1, or into presynaptic glia or smooth muscle cells, uptake 2. They mentions also that the bit could fit also in artist relation minutes, but here in the islands it is at informal interest square. They decorated it with the jewel purple color, purple jewel. Hanany lot got 1 point for this bit. Artihanan, throwing dice. one movement and gaining celebration and congratulation. Bravo artihanan, and congratulations about your two gained pets. And he will put her pet also, which is at history square. The subject he want to take to tell us history about is radiology, computed tomography. In early 1900s, an Italian radiologist, Alessandro Velbona, proposed a method to represent a single slice of the body on radiographic film. Radiology proved to be a dramatically fast-growing specialty. X-ray, a German physicist, Wilhelm Röntgen, discovered X-ray in 1895 and received the first Nobel Prize in physics. Since then, the advancement that has happened in imaging, from plain films to digital technology, has been a marvelous help in improving the detection capability of lesions. On the other side of his bed, he writes abbreviation in MRI, nuclear and magnetic resonance imaging. The history about it in 1950s, Hermann Carr reported the creation of a one-dimensional MR image in 1973. Luther published the first NMR image. NMR imaging is a relatively new technology. It becomes a specialty that hospital cannot live without. And there is a picture referring to the history. Group Hanans, pharmacists. Hi girls. They got one with a gain. Celebrate your gains, Hanan. It is one bit about the history. And let's read your bit. In the student minute, they want to focus about the word potency, and they mention that their pets fit also on the reading minute. Here it is at the student minute. Potency. Potency from the dictionary, it is قوة صولة صال عليه استطال وصال عليه وسب وبابه قال وصولة أيضا يقال رب قول أشد من صول. And they drawing books and ink jar and the feather for writing. And the other side they wrote المصاولة المواسبة وكذلك الصيال والصيالة. Remember this translation for the word potency. وصاؤل البعير بالهمز من باب الظروفة. إذا صار يقتل الناس ويعدو عليهم فهو جمل صؤول. Interesting bit from Hanan's group. And celebrate your gain. Congratulations. Hearts from Hanans. Hanan strays, throwing dice, 2 behavioral. She provided a bit in position square. The bits say distal to receptors. The position pharmaceutical chemists. Pharmaceutical chemists are now determining whether elements of signaling pathway distal to the receptors may serve as targets of selective and useful drugs. For example, clinically useful agents might be developed that act selectively on specific G proteins, kinases, phosphatases or enzymes that degrade second messengers. Hanany strays got 1 bit. Hanany lot. 5 and gain. Congratulations, Hanan lot. They gain 2 bits and they will put their input bit at the 4th square. They decorated the bit about histamine by coloring squares and pathways between them. Gray pathways between these squares. They wrote in the forces, H1 antagonists are widely distributed throughout the body, and except for new agents, the terfenadine, loratadine, estimazole, mikitazine, enter the CNS readily. H2 antagonist action is quite selective. Is that the H2 antagonists do not affect H1 receptor mediated action. Hanany lots got 1 bit for that input. Artihanan throwing dice. Oh. 1 behavioral. At the Explorer square, the subject functional organization of autonomic activity. A basic understanding of the interactions of autonomic component with each other and with their effector organs is essential for an appreciation of the actions of autonomic drugs, especially because of their significant reflex effect. On the other side of his bit, he referred to the movie Spectre of the Bond, the song of the movie, and he drew a spectrum of color containing, or of light, containing a component of autonomic nervous system spread throughout the spectrum. It's a precious bit. Hanany lot will got a bit for this. He now has 4 points. Artihanan. Now with Hanan's group. Six behavioral. They will move to the training minute. They provided a precious bit. They draw a 3-dimensional pharmacist watch or 3D minutes, and they write live the philosophy. That is the philosophy of the pharmacist watch. Pharmacist watch works as training planet with unique set of activities. On the other side, they draw a straight line minutes with 10 minutes around the training minutes. It is the range of training, and they put the minutes on a straight line like a scale. Training is a set of activities that provide opportunity to acquire a job-related skill. Train for imaging, calculations, application response, and the subject they made training range. Hanany lots now has 3 points. Hanany strays again, throwing dice for oral. or audio. To the prompting square. Hanan strays draw Almanitizer's symbol, Almanitizer card. He draws the two watches related to each other and connected by the heart obstacles, and also to the earth or the world around. And he wrote, beside the partial agonist result in complementary response of receptors. The response is complementary. On the other side, she decorates the pets with star stickers. And she wrote, antagonists considered as weak partial agonists, and the subject partial agonists. Hanan strays got 1 point for that pet. Hanany lot. 6 behavioral. He will move through the island to the K's square. The bet in K's square at K's square, beta 2 adrenoceptor antagonists also appear capable of reducing histamine release. On the other side, the subject histamine, they wrote, injection of epinephrine can be life-saving in systemic anaphylaxis and in other conditions in which massive release of histamine and other mediators occur. Hanany lot got 1 point. Artihanan. Throwing dice from Explorer Square to direction 6 direction with behavior with a tick note. To the luxury square. The note as a form of luxurious card, postcard, representing layers of interrelation, personal interrelation and the communication within career. He draws a game and the symbol of pharmacist with novel drugs getting, and on the top surface he writes pets, and one layer taking rate view, measuring the rate of the tour, and he write a perfect note. It is a perfect salon. Thank you, artihanan. That's your elegant sensitivity. Artihanan now has 5 points. Hanan's group, throwing dice from training minute, direction 4, direction with behavioral meaning the communication between pharmacists and doctors. Their pets at the care square. They mention also that could be for manage minute, also care minute, and it can fit at manage minute, but now they are at care minute. Functional management, medicate, grains and green books can be suitable for care. On the other side, they put in a picture for business components in a capsule, and the comment, applying with Hanan's clinical administration books allow compounding the individual dose for management. Hanan's at care minute have 4 points. Hanan's. Hanan is 3. Throwing dice from prompting direction 1 and oral. It is to at describe square. Oh, what a precious bit. She drew a symbol for pharmacist with analysis and with the watch and with a square describing and referring to the name Hanan. Thank you, Hanan Strays. It's very elegant symbol. She mentions as she got described as a responsibility. The subject, clinical relevance of drug metabolism. The dose and the frequency of administration required to achieve effective therapeutic blood and tissue levels vary in different patients because of individual differences in drug distribution and rates of drug metabolism and elimination. On the other side, important variables relating to drug metabolism. Number 1, individual differences. Number 2, genetic factors. Number 3, environmental factors. Number 4, age and sex. Number 5, drug interactions during metabolism. The differences are determined by genetic factors and the non-genetic variables such as age, sex, liver size, liver function, circadian rhythm, body temperature, and the nutritional and environmental factors such as concomitant exposure to inducers or inhibitors of drug metabolism. Hanan Strays got more point at describe square. Hanany lot. Welcome with flowers from the game table. Throwing dice. They directed 2 direction from K square with branding value to add the tool square. They provide a bed decorated with symbols of pharmacists, snakes with beaker for analysis, repeated as a fence for the pet, and they stamp the pet with medical seniority and exaltedness. About benzodiazepine, half-life elimination ranging from 30 to 100 hours, and they draw the dosing minutes and the half-life from performance to disclosure, and at 30 they put the minute proficiency. They make it as like a cone or a triangle, and referring that including daytime sedation. Referring to central depression. On the other side, they decorated with golden pen for the direct to speed, but it is just a decoration. Beside it, they wrote, "This may result in unwanted CNS depression, including daytime sedation." On the other side, they wrote un peu in French. Un peu, like very little or قليلا. Flurazepam, which is used mainly for hypnosis, is oxidized by hepatic enzymes to 3 active metabolites: disalkyl flurazepam, hydroxyethyl flurazepam, and flurazepam aldehyde, which have elimination half-life ranging from 30 to 100 hours. They repeated the subject: benzodiazepine, sedative hypnotic drugs. Bravo, Hanany. Artihanan. Throwing dice from Luxury Square directed 3 and gain. What a precious game. Congratulations. These flowers from the game table. Let's count what he got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He gained 8 pets. Congratulations. And he will make his entry at 4th square. He decorated the bed with a picture from advertisement about flat is not flat. He wrote it is not flat. The flexible, fully integrated imaging system. The subject dose is precisely delivered to the planned position. Patients want to be treated in a short time. TrueBeam deliver it. The technique is TrueBeam deliver it. On the other side, he mentions that the bed could fit at tool, imaging minute, radiology minute, and technique square, but now it is at 4th. Be smart with your patients and use TrueBeam. TrueBeam, your total for abbreviation is ABR, and its translation stereotactic ablative radiotherapy SABR, requires highest possible precision. TrueBeam delivers it. Our appraisal to Artihanan is up to date and on with all news. Hanans throwing dice from care to pattern square. They are put at pattern minutes, not squares, minutes or seconds. They decorate their pets with beautiful pattern of square and hearts. They wrote design pattern for compounding records that provide a consistent source of information when repeating the formulation. And they give some of that pattern, name and strength, all ingredients, equipment, calculation, quality control, storage requirements. On the other side, they refer to the subject compounding formulations, and the comment pattern ensure the consistency and permit secure interpretation and information. Thank you, Hanans. They got 1 bet for that. The end of the game. Now we are waiting to declare the winner. Congratulations to all the participants. All game, even the behavior of game was informative. the music of Mozart, First Symphony. Celebrating our precious behavior. The winner is artihanan. He gained the term medical and pharmaceutical seniority. Congratulations and celebrate your pets. It is your gain of the perfect behavior. Congratulations to artihanan, medical and pharmaceutical seniority of the game. Next episode we will start with at least 3 players. The episode will be مستني. Now recorded Hanan Alpha and Hanany T. And now is Hanan screen. Welcome Hanan screen, Hanan Alpha, Hanany T. In our next episode. And again our seniority artihanan. إلى اللقاء في الجيم القادم. pharmaceutical seniority artihanan.